Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Dr. Nima Rahmany, who is a chiropractor and transformational and healing specialist. Dr. Nima, welcome to the program.
Great to be here, my friend.
You know, it's neat. We were just talking about some of our connections we have, and it's just always neat just to see, what's a small world we actually live in. So I'm excited to learn from you and to see what a transformational and healing specialist is. And I understand you're a practicing chiropractor. So give us a little bit of your background and what led you to chiropractic, and then what is a transformational and healing specialist?
Yeah. Basically, I've been in the field of healing for the past 20 years. And what I noticed is that people are usually just coming in with stress-related disorders. I mean, when you go to the doctor, it's usually a stress-related problem that gets you in there.
Huh.
So,
but yet people don't realize that, right?
Intuitively, intuitively, that it's stress that gets you there. But, other than paying lip service, it's just stress and lifestyle. They don't really give you tools to actually handle that. And so I started noticing that after 10, 15 years that I'm just dealing with the end stage of a stress-related problem. So I just slowly started becoming more of an educator in my clinic. Yeah. I would start doing these workshops called Life Skills for a Stressful World, and then gradually move into 3-day trainings, which are now facilitated all over the world, where I teach people how to clear the underlying root cause of their stresses, which is usually relationship and career conflict or constraints. So which usually comes from a disconnection with themselves. So when you teach them how to reconnect with themselves, all of a sudden, downstream, like a domino effect, people heal.
Yeah. I love how you phrase that, because we didn't mention that the medical community just almost doesn't know what to do with stress correctly, because they will say, let's just medicate it. But in your profession, I know I've got a few clients that are chiropractors, and I know that the nervous system is such a dynamic system of nerve endings and synapses and impulses that then cause or can help heal that stress. So when you're talking through about your workshops, is it your workshop that you're talking through some of these and educating people on this to make them more aware? Totally. And then are you helping them to work through some of these physical stressors? Yeah,
100%. You live your life through your nervous system.
Yeah.
You live your life through your nervous system. And so if there's a dysregulation somewhere because of a trauma, we have to approach it not just from a cognitive standpoint where you're doing kind of like a therapy or changing the story of the dynamic, but you actually also have to change the dysregulation in the body. So, we get stressed and triggered each and every day, but these are old wounds that are stuck in our bodies. So to heal it, you must approach it from a body base, healing the nervous system from the body and cognitively as well. That's why therapies, you can go to therapy for like 6 years talking about the same thing and not really work through it, because the body keeps the score and the body needs to be addressed, and you have to teach tools and basically we teach tools on how to clear the stress and regulate the nervous system. Really, that's what it's all about.
When you were explaining that, it reminds me of the example I know you've heard 1,000 times. If someone needs to lose 30 pounds, let's say, they want to have it happen in a week or 2 or 3, but they didn't get into that situation or that condition overnight or a week or 2 or 3. So it's going to take some time to get out of it. So what have you found in your working with clients and patients? What's the kind of the buildup Is this like a lifetime of stress? Is there certain trigger points? And I know you teach on triggers. Is it something where, it tends to kind of have this cumulative effect and then it just starts to be, overwhelming for people that has built up over the years?
Absolutely. Well, if you're dealing with an issue, like let's say weight gain or any illness or disease, you want to ask when it happened, what was going on. So if you're listening and you're dealing with some sort of a stress-related illness, digestive problem, headaches, migraines, and you want to ask when did it start? And then what you want to do is then go back and go, all right, so what was going on in my life at the time? And it usually has to do with some sort of a conflict. And so accumulation of these conflicts over time will create illness in the body, without a doubt. The tissues can only take so much before they adapt. They're trying to adapt and then they break down. So what we do is we go back to the earliest memories where these conflicts happen. And they usually happen in childhood. There was, even the birth trauma and beyond. And so we need to unravel that. And so the way that you build a future of healing and transformation and connection and purpose is you go back into the past where things kind of fell apart and you want to put them back together. So it's really about rewriting your past, not just in your brain, but also in the body. That's how we do it. So it's cumulative. So we go back to the earliest memories and clear those.
What would you say, or it makes me wonder if there's people that are dealing with what you just described as well as specific hotspots or trigger points. Like I'm thinking, I don't want to get into the details of PTSD. It's a whole, 9-hour podcast episode there, but I'm certain that you would say there's people that deal with stresses from way back in the day, but then when they were 25, they had this event, whatever that might be. So do these, pockets of increased times of stress really then amplify what's going on as well?
Can you ask that again in a different way?
Yeah, so you have people that you go back to childhood and see when a certain stress had originated. Well, what would happen if that same person, when they were 15 or 25 or 35, had a spike where it's almost like a life event where maybe there was a traumatic stressor that happened in addition to what they've been dealing with for years and years. So that layers in the need for them to deal with these stresses.
100%. And every single thing you're going through right now is a past event that's been transferred over. So when we're healing it, when you're going through a divorce, if you look at some of the feelings that you're going through in the divorce, you don't feel seen, you feel betrayed, you feel guilt. All of those things are not new feelings. So you need to go back and address the origins of them if you truly want to heal. You truly want to transform. And one of my clients is dealing with panic attacks and anxiety. And it turns out that 7 years prior, she was having an affair that had her start to have some health problems as a result. And the health problems, particularly in her reproductive system, got so bad after 7 years of having this affair that she literally had to take her uterus out. They did a hysterectomy. And the next day after they took her uterus out and they did a hysterectomy, boom, the next day she started getting panic attacks. So what we had to do was go back and really sort out and get all of her act together, because she tried everything. She tried the whole medical system. And then when we unraveled the story, we saw that it came back from a trauma from her past when she saw her father had cheated on her mother, and she had this resentment against her father, which then she started acting out the behaviors that she was resenting. And then her body started breaking down. And so only by going back and healing that relationship with her father and getting into a level of understanding for him, could she then get to an understanding of herself when she acted out the same behaviors and healed that. And then, boom, panic attacks went away when she healed all of that. And we just went back and rewrote those whole stories. And anxiety and health issues are all usually a window to go back and heal what's broken inside. If you dare go there, that's the thing. We work with the people that are like, all right, I don't want to take the pills anymore. I want to actually go and solve the root cause of the problem. Very important for entrepreneurs to do.
I was literally just getting ready to bring up entrepreneurs, because I feel like a lot of people would say, I need to do this for myself. That's great. But then an entrepreneur might have that extra level of motivation because they want to get themselves personal development taken care of, but for the purpose of their company, their employees, their future. So how does this relate in your work with entrepreneurs?
Well, entrepreneurs, the only way the most successful entrepreneurs that we see are usually mission driven. Their work is, the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because it's kind of fulfilling something deeper and more profound in their lives, right? And in order for you to be connected to a very purposeful future, rather than just making money, it's something purposeful. That's how entrepreneurship thrives. You've got to be cause and mission driven. You can't be mission driven if you have an unresolved past.
Yeah.
Because you're so stuck there, you're in trauma, you're in scarcity, you're in survival, you are not at your best. So the entrepreneur's business will only grow to the degree that they grow, they themselves grow. And outside of their kind of monkey mind state of trauma into like mission driven, because entrepreneurs have very high levels of addictions, high levels of mental illness, because, they don't want to work for other people. They want to, create their own destiny, which creativity and getting out and, going outside of the box and to create takes a different part of the brain to be activated. And in order for that part of the brain, the neocortex, to be activated in creativity, you must be out of a nervous system dysregulation. You must be regulated. And in order for you to be regulated, you have to be free and clear of your traumas, and you have to be doing the work that brings your creativity out. So entrepreneurs have a huge responsibility of self-care, which the problem is the last thing entrepreneurs do is take care of themselves, because they're so busy spinning, 12 different plates at the same time, which then ultimately leads to their demise. So I'm very dedicated to supporting entrepreneurs because they need structure. They need guidance to be able to heal themselves. And when they do, their heart's open to a mission that's greater than themselves. And that's when entrepreneurship thrives.
And we could speak about statistics, very real statistics about the foundational aspects of entrepreneurialism and small business ownership in America and what it does to our business underpinning. So I love how you take that on, because it really is a big, big thing. And it's a whole different animal than, the CEO of a $300 million or $1 billion corporation. So speak a little bit about another aspect that you teach on, which is imposter syndrome, and how it relates to an entrepreneur trying to work through their stresses.
Sorry, you just got a little bit cut off there. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, speak a little bit about the imposter syndrome that you teach on and how it impacts entrepreneurs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So entrepreneurs, basically, one day you're working 9 to 5, a desk job for somebody, and then you just go, I can't do this anymore. And you have this incredible feeling where you're like, I got to get up and I gotta go pursue this dream. I got to pursue this vision. I got to go work for myself. I got to go create. And so you have what's called this, in the hero's journey, according to Joseph Campbell, this call to adventure. So you're called to this adventure. You're like, all right, I got to get up and I got to go call to this adventure to create this new business, this enterprise for myself. And it's scary. It's like any Superman or Luke Skywalker, in one of those hero movies. So you're the hero, right? But the very next part that comes up, I spoke to 2 chiropractors yesterday who were ready to step up and kind of leave their confines of their practice and to start leading. And immediately they said the same. They were like, oh my God, I really want to lead others. And then the very next thought, guess what it was?
But I can't. Who am I?
But who am I? Who am I to be leading? Who am I? And then I told them, I said, this is what I said to them. I said, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. The next step after the call to adventure is the refusal of the call. It's kind of like the movie The Matrix, where Neo is like, have you seen that movie?
Years ago, and probably not start to finish, but I know the concept.
okay, Neo basically was like, he was trying to be, like, he was called to be the one. Morpheus kept saying, Neo, you're the one. And Neo was like, I'm not. I can't be. I'm not. And the entire movie was this whole journey of Neo battling this imposter syndrome of, I can't be the one. Like, I'm not special. I don't have that skill. I don't have all of that stuff. And so what ends up happening is it's the journey of him kind of finally owning that he is the one. So it finally sank in at the end where he started battling all the bad guys. And it was pretty, parallel to the journey of the entrepreneur. The next step after answering the call to adventure is the refusal of a call. So how do you deal with it? Well, you have to be dedicated to your why. You have to get connected to the pain of the individual who's going through it. And all you need to know is you're just got to be a few steps ahead. And so every time I think of myself, I think, oh, who am I? But every time I think of the person who's struggling, the entrepreneur who's struggling with transitional anxiety, not knowing if they should stay or they should leave their relationship, going through a divorce, going through a separation, the pain of, not being able to get over a really haunting past. When I think of those people, I know how to solve their problem. And so when I'm thinking of those people, I don't have imposter syndrome. When I'm thinking of myself, I start to focus on my flaws and my inadequacies. Then I'm completely disconnected from my ability to help other people. So it's about thinking of self versus your mission.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's speak a little bit about your overview method. I know you've got a home study program and as well as the weekend program. So what is the overview method?
The overview method, well, when the astronauts in the 60s left the planet to go study the moon, a very unintended, unexpected side effect happened. They came back down to Earth, and they were changed people. In other words, when you go and see yourself, just imagine, what city are you?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, you're in Denver. So you're sitting in Denver, but what if you observe yourself from the perspective of the moon?
Yeah.
Right? You look at yourself now sitting in your chair in Denver, Colorado, but you're looking at it from the moon, and you're in outer space. When you come back down to Denver, you don't see Denver as the same. In fact, you don't even see a difference between Vancouver, where I am, and Denver. You don't see a difference in religion. You don't see political affiliations. There is no us versus them. There's just only this sense of oneness and a shift in perspective. That cognitive shift that astronauts would feel when they would leave the planet and they'd come back to Earth, very people-oriented orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world and a desire to do something about it, is called the overview effect. That's called the overview effect. It's this amazing ability to just see the big picture and come back and have a shift in your awareness. That's what the overview method, that's what inspired me to name my methodology, which is a self-inquiry tool that I teach in workshops and one-on-one to people to be able to take whatever's stressing them that's in the way and ask them a series of questions that gets them to question the validity of their beliefs and interpretations and meaning they're making out of it, not just cognitively. The key component is you're also getting an awareness of the feelings in the body that come up and the stories you make out about yourself that show up in the body. And it's a body and mind clearing tool of the stress that's been in the way so that you can see it as on the way and you're no longer in a state of constraint by it. So it's a self-inquiry tool that cognitively and somatically clears stress so that you can then, remove that baggage that's stopping you from moving forward in the direction that you want to be in your business and your relationships. That's what it reminds me of
the old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees because you're too close to the problem, you're too close to yourself.
Exactly.
So when you can look at it from that way past 30,000 foot view, as they say, but from that overview, that was really a spectacular summary explanation. Thank you for that. What's the best way people can reach out to you, connect, learn more, learn more about the overview experience?
Yeah, my website answers all of it. There's a ton of content. There's my show is on it, drnima.com. I also have a couple of trainings that might be interesting to anybody who's kind of constrained by something, the 5 shifts that are necessary to heal toxic relationship, how to clear transitional anxiety. All of the shows of my YouTube channel are on my website. So drnima.com, drnima.com, and you can easily contact me through there. And it's got all the content you need and my home study program and the calendar of events. It's all on drnima.com.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Nima, thank you so much for your time. I'll make sure that link is right in the show notes, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Thank you so much.
You bet.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.